So ladies and gentlemen, I want all of our eyes up here. I want our legs crisscross applesauce. I need all eyes up here, all of my friends' eyes. I'm sorry, sweetie. Do you want to come sit here? You can sit next to me. Sit down, crisscross applesauce right next to me. So I need all eyes up here. And remember, we've been talking about pumpkins lately, haven't we? And last time we got to cut open our pumpkin. We got to look inside. We knew that our pumpkin had ridges, and we got to count them to see how many. And we each had our own pumpkin, and all of our pumpkins had different ridges, right? We know that pumpkins are hard and pumpkins are orange. And today we're going to learn even more about pumpkins. So I need all of my friends to sit crisscross applesauce facing me. Thank you. Today we're going to learn even more about pumpkins, but instead of what's inside the pumpkin, we're going to learn about something a little bit different. We're going to learn how to measure the pumpkin. So we get to measure our pumpkins today, just like the pumpkins that we had last time. And I want all of my friends to be on task today, because we are on task and you get to do all the work that you have to do to measure your pumpkin. You get to do something super special, which is weighing your pumpkin. And I brought in my very own scale so that we can weigh our pumpkin. Alright? So you get to see how heavy your pumpkin is. But only if we get everything else done. So I need my super listeners. I need everyone to be looking up here and being ready to learn. So I brought in a pretend pumpkin. So I have a pretend pumpkin over here. See how it's plastic? It's not very heavy. It's kind of light. Just plastic, empty pumpkin like what you go get Halloween candy with. So this is what we're gonna practice on, and then you get your very own real pumpkins when we're done. But we're gonna need to make a circle, so I need my front row, turn around. I need my insides to go onto the outer side, and I need my back row just to scoot up a tiny little bit. Here, I'll move this for you. We're gonna measure this one, yep. Amir, I need you to be sitting with your friends. Are we ready to learn?
Yes.
Can you show me that we're ready to learn?
Yes.
Thank you. So first, we're going to measure how tall our pumpkin is. So we're going to use our cubes, and we're going to count. So if I have my cubes, I'm going to take them all apart. So I have all different cubes, and then I'm going to see how tall do I think my pumpkin is. So let's start stacking them up. We're going to stack them up just like Legos. Stack them up. Here's one. Stack them up all the way to the top. See, oh my goodness, this pumpkin is so tall. I might need more. Oh, there's another cube. Thank you, Marley. All right, so I've stacked it up, and I can put my hand right here, and I can see that these are the same size. So now let's count. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So our pumpkin is 10, not 10 inches, because these are inches, these are cubes. So
10 feet.
our pumpkin is 10 cubes tall. So that's how tall our pumpkin is, or that's what we call the height of our pumpkin. So next, we know how tall our pumpkin is now, but we need to know how round our pumpkin is. And the word for that is circumference. Does anyone say circumference?
Circumference.
Circumference. That means how round, how wide it is. what we're gonna do,
That's really fun.
if we all talk, we're not gonna know the directions. Let's make sure that we're listening so I can give the directions and I can teach. Keep in mind where your space is. So if we go all the way around the pumpkin and we can cut it, when we go back and practice this ourselves, we're gonna cut it. And I know that my pumpkin is this long. Now how many cubes do you think that is? That's a lot of cubes, isn't it? So let's lay it out. So we're gonna lay it out. This is how wide. If we're all listening and we're not talking, we'll be able to find out how many cubes it is. But right now I hear a lot of friends talking. So let's not talk. Let's listen. So we know that this is 10. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Let's see if it's that long. No, it's longer than 15. This is a super big pumpkin. So we have 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Let's see if it's 20. No, it's not even 20.
We just need one more than 20.
I think we need a couple more. So we have 20, 21, 22, 23. Let's see if that works.
Yes.
It's 23 cubes. So the circumference, the circumference of the pumpkin is 24 cubes. So when we go back to our, when we go back to our seats and we're gonna practice on our own pumpkin, we're gonna wrap the string all the way around our pumpkin, and then we're gonna see how many. And then we're gonna see how many cubes our pumpkin is, for how tall it is and all the way around. So now we know that this pumpkin is how many cubes tall? 10. So the height of this pumpkin is 10 cubes. What is the circumference of this pumpkin? 23. That's right. So our pumpkin is 10 cubes tall and 23 cubes all the way around. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a little disappointed in the way that we're acting right now. I know that there's pumpkins in those bags because I brought them here. And I want everyone to get to use their own pumpkin and experiment and see how big their pumpkin is. But we're not going to do that if we're all sitting here talking, are we? That's something that you can show me with your thumb when you want to say something. So when we go back to our desks, we're going to be filling out pumpkin booklets. And our book is going to have our cover page, or our front cover, and it's going to say, your name, pumpkin investigation. So if I was filling out my own, I would say, Miss Bailey, Miss Bailey's pumpkin investigation. So the first thing that we're going to do when we go back to our desk is put our name on our pumpkin investigation so that everyone knows it's our pumpkin book. When we've done that, we're going to flip to our next page. And we're going to measure how tall our pumpkin is, just like we did, and everyone's going to have their own cubes at their desk with their pumpkin, so you can all measure your own cubes. So we're going to measure how tall our pumpkin is, and you can write in my estimate. So first, think. So if you were looking at our pumpkin, the pumpkin that we had over here, would you have guessed that it was 10 cubes if you had to guess? Would you think, if you looked at it and be like, I wonder how many cubes this is, would you say it was 10 or would you say it was 100? 10. So when you get your pumpkins,
No way.
when you get your pumpkins, you can think.
Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong answer, it's just what you think in your brain. You can think how many cubes you think it's gonna be and write that number here where it says my estimate. Next, you're gonna actually measure. So that's when we measured how tall our pumpkin was. So then you're gonna write how tall my pumpkin was. So here I would write 10, because my pumpkin was 10 cubes. Next, you're gonna go and you're gonna say, how big is your pumpkin around? So that's when we took the yarn and we measured it all the way around. And then we measured it with cubes to see how many cubes there was. So raise your thumb if you can tell me how many cubes around our pumpkin was.
23.
Adeline.
10.
23, that's right. Not, our pumpkin wasn't 10 cubes around, it was 10 cubes tall. So the height was 10 cubes, but you were close. Next, and we're only gonna get to do this if everyone's listening and paying attention, we're gonna see if pumpkins sink or float. And we're gonna practice with predictions right now. And we're gonna think. Raise a thumb if you think they float. Raise your thumb if you think that they float. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 friends that think they float. So I'm gonna write 4 next to float. Raise a thumb if you think they sink. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 friends that think that they sink. So at the end, when we, I counted you. At the end, if everyone's been listening and we're on task and we're following directions, then we are going to find out if our pumpkins sink or float. We're going to test our theory and then we can mark it in our books to see what the correct answer is. Alright? So what we're going to do is we're going to write our name for pumpkin investigation. So everyone knows it's our book. When you've done that, you'll get your page where you can guess or estimate how tall your pumpkin is, and then you can measure to see if you were right or how. Your pumpkin's not going to be the same as that pumpkin. You're going to have your very own pumpkin. So you don't know. But you can guess. So you could guess that it was 23, and then you can actually measure to see how many it is. So write what your guess is, and then write what it actually measured, and then you're going to measure around your pumpkin. Find your spot, please. Then you're going to measure around your pumpkin and write that down. And at the very end, we're going to see if it sinks or floats. And if all of my friends are on task and they're being excellent listeners, I have a super secret surprise all about learning about pumpkins. But you have to show me that you're good listeners and you're ready, okay? I need my gentlemen to stand up and go to their tables. David, please sit up. I know that you're not feeling well today, but school is almost over, okay? Then you can go home. Alright? I need my ladies to stand up. When I see that you're sitting and you're being good listeners and you're ready to work, I'm going to pass out your pumpkin. I see that JR and Michael went right to their desks. They're ready to learn. I can tell that they're super excited about pumpkins. So write your name on there. Write your name.
Where did you get them from?
We're working on this right now. You need to be writing your name on your pumpkin investigation sheet. You need to be writing your name on your pumpkin investigation sheet. Sit up, please.
Correct. You do not get to take your name.
Once your name's on your pumpkin investigation sheet, you'll get your pumpkin, And you can start work on measuring.
I stopped.
Jordan's on task. I see that he's writing his name. He's ready to get his pumpkin. JR, you're already done. Good job. There you go. Now remember to measure how tall your pumpkin is. And then I'm going to give you yarn and you can measure all the way around.
Where did he get the pumpkins from? Where did he pick the pumpkins from? Pumpkin patch. Making our pumpkin.
Everyone's going to give their pumpkin. There you go. Measure how tall your pumpkin is.
I don't like it a big deal.
You can start measuring how tall your pumpkin is. Make sure you measure how tall your pumpkin is.
Is that purple?
While I'm passing out the pumpkins, ladies and gentlemen, look at me. While I'm passing out the pumpkins, if you don't have a sheet or if you don't have a pumpkin yet, you can pick your pumpkin up. You can see if it's heavy or light and think about it. Think about how we talked about last class or last lesson, how some of our pumpkins were big and some of our pumpkins were small. I'm gonna get you one. I'm gonna get you your bag. So, just a second. Are you measuring how tall it is? Make sure you think about and take a guess at how tall you think it's going to be before you measure. That's a good observation. Some of them have lines and some of them don't have lines. Like this. Did you take a guess before you measured? You took a guess? Good job. I think you took a guess. And you took a guess. Good job. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Here you go. I'm sorry about that. Make sure you take your guess before you measure. Very neat. All right, down so you remember. You can't have your second until you measure how tall it is.
Let's do different numbers.
doesn't need to open. Just a single piece of paper. Measure how tall it is. That's what you got, Mom. Caroline, you said you see. And I see that you measured how tall your pumpkin was. So you need to write it down. If you're doing your work, you can always pick up if you're doing your work. And I see that you measured how tall your pumpkin was. So you need to write that down. So write down, count the cubes, and write down. Make sure you measure your pumpkin and write down how many cubes. I see that you took a guess, and that's awesome. So now you need to measure it, see how close you were to your guess. Okay. You measured yours? Write down how much it was.
This is so heavy. This is okay.
Alright, show me, boys and girls, that you're ready to see how wide or see what the circumference of your pumpkin is. And I'll know that you're ready when you have your guess and how tall your pumpkin is. So when you're ready, show me and I'll come give you your string so you can measure how wide it is. How many cubes is that? Is that 10 cubes? Count how many cubes that is. So you got it, it's right. It's just as tall as the pumpkin, but you need to count how many cubes there are. Can you please break this apart for me? Oh, I see that Marley's ready to see how wide her pumpkin is. There you go, Marley. Take it and go all the way around. And mark where it is and see how wide it is. Put your finger right there. And then see right there where my ribbon is. Hold on to that spot. Lay it down on your desk. And then see how many cubes that is. How many cubes does this mean? Count together. Count together. 1, 2, 3,
Oh, look at Joshua.
5, 6. So 6 cubes tall. And I don't see you doing very much work here. I need you to go to your work. Nope, you can't get anything until your work's done. I don't see it. That doesn't look like me. I don't see where your guess is. And I don't see you ready to get on to a guess. Like, take a guess. Like 3 cubes. Did you guess before you did that? So if you didn't know it was 3 cubes, what would you think it was? If you just looked at it and observed it like we did last time. I like how you guessed. That was a good job. Yeah, you look like you're ready for your yarn.
It's heavy.
Heavy? If you finish your work, you're gonna get to weigh it. Find out how heavy it is. You get to tell her that you do. So can you wrap that all the way around and see how many cubes it is? If you finish your work, see that scale right there? Like a scale? If you finish your work, you're gonna get to use that scale to see how heavy your pumpkin is. measure it all the way around? That was very nice of you.
I mean,
Ladies and gentlemen at table one, that was very nice of you. Thank you for giving this to me now. You can flip up at the end of the lesson. Look, ladies at table, ladies and gentlemen at table one, we're gonna start. Hold it all the way around, and then pinch it right there. So we have that how long our pumpkin, or how wide our pumpkin is. And then line up your cubes till you get to this point. And everyone else. Can you raise your hand and then I'll come out? Did you measure yours? So yours was 10 cubes around? Is it okay? So you look like you're already, you look like you're ready to weigh your pumpkin. When you weigh your pumpkin, Sarah, I need you to find your seats and see how wide it is. Be careful when you measure it all the way around. You have to take your time. There you go. So you have to measure yours all the way around. Not far along. So start right here and see how many cubes you got. I'm going to be coming over to friends who are raising their hands, showing me that they're ready. Look, here's the third cup. How easy was that? Are you ready for yours? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Sarah, I need you to find your seats. Sarah, why have you not measured your pumpkin? Are you done? Are you ready to weigh your pumpkin? Where's your... You didn't measure. You need to measure what the circumference of your pumpkin is. So how it goes around. So it's that big. So how many cubes is that? And right here to down there, how many cubes is that? How many cubes is this? Raise your hand if you need me.